Hello, beautiful truth seekers, and welcome to the Third Flame Tarot. My name is Amber, and I'm really excited to be here because today is the first day I'm posting a video to my new tarot YouTube channel, the Third Flame Tarot. I've wanted to do a tarot YouTube channel for a very long time, and I'm just now building up enough courage to come on here and actually do this. So I really appreciate you being here, supporting my channel, and I cannot wait to interact with you more in the future. I've been a tarot reader for many years. I've read for many different people, in many different walks of life, in many different situations, circumstances, and even locations. But one thing that I haven't done yet is read tarot in front of a camera. And I can already tell it's going to be a completely different experience than what I'm used to. As a reader, when you have a physical person sitting in front of you, you're not only able to tap into their energy, but you can read their body language, facial expressions, interact with them verbally, and even encourage their spirit guides, angels, and helpers to come through and influence the reading. But without us being able to be together in person, we will have to find more creative ways to exchange energy so that I can more accurately channel messages from the divine that are meant specifically for you. A few great ways we can do this is by you just being here on the channel watching my videos. But the most important ways for us to exchange energy is by you interacting on my channel, whether that's commenting, liking, sharing, or subscribing. These are all forms of energy transfer, and they will help me more accurately tap into the collective consciousness so I can more acutely channel messages that are meant specifically for you. Now, if you know anything about the tarot, you know that it's a deeply personal, emotional, spiritual, and often profound form of divination. And I felt that it was only appropriate for me to come on here, properly introduce myself, tell you a little bit more about me, tell you about my channel and what I hope to achieve here before I start pulling cards. So I would love to get into that now. I named the channel the Third Flame Tarot for a couple of different reasons. The first most important reason is the number 3. The number 3 is a beautifully divine number. It symbolizes the Holy Trinity, the mind, the body, the soul, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The number 3 in numerology also represents creativity, self-expression, communication, and inner wisdom. The first shape we think of when we think of the number 3 is the triangle. If we were to bring our hands together and create this beautiful gesture, we would get what's called a mudra. In yoga, they teach that mudras can actually change the flow or pranic energy in your body to raise your vibration and help you tap into each chakra. This particular mudra is associated with Sahasrara chakra, and that is the crown chakra, the 7th chakra, and the highest chakra in the chakra system. Sahasrara chakra acts as an antennae between the physical and the spiritual realm. It helps you channel messages from the divine and translate them into the 3D. This is very important for any form of divination. You have to have an open crown and third eye chakra in order to properly translate the messages from the divine. Coming back to Sahasrara chakra mudra, in the middle you see the pyramid. The pyramid to me symbolizes the beautiful exchange of energy that occurs during a tarot reading. The 2 points at the bottom of the triangle symbolize the reader, the receiver, and the top of the pyramid symbolizes source, God energy, the all that is, the third flame. You'll also notice with the triangle, both the reader and the receiver have a direct line of communication to God. This is very important for you to understand that tarot readers do not have the power. It's always up to you to tap into your own intuition. We all have a direct line of communication with God, and it's up to you to interpret the messages that the tarot readers bring for your greatest and highest good. Coming back to Sahasrara chakra mudra, you'll notice on either side of the triangle, we have 3 fingers here and 3 fingers here. There are also 3 points to the triangle in the center. If we were to add that up, we would get 3, 3, 3. And 333 is an amazing sequence of numbers. It is an angel number, and it reminds us that we are always being helped, we are always being watched, and we are always on the right path. If you are seeing the number 333, it is a blatantly obvious message from the divine that you are on the right path. The 3 fingers on either side of the triangle not only symbolize the 333, but to me, it represents the blooming of the all that is, the blooming of the Godhead, right? Isn't that beautiful? 3 fingers here, 3 points here, 3 fingers here. 3, 3, 3. That adds up to 9 and brings me into my next favorite number in numerology, which is the number 9. And this is going to help us translate or transition into the next part of this video, which is a little bit more about me. The number 9. The number 9 is my second favorite number in numerology, and it's also my life path number. 9s represent enlightenment, intuition, and inner wisdom, which are all things I'm constantly grasping for. They're also the last of the single-digit numbers in numerology. Therefore, they represent the end of a cycle or completion, which is a huge reason as a Life Path 9, I decided to come on to YouTube and make this channel. I feel like I have a lot of spiritual revelations and life lessons I still haven't completed, and YouTube feels like a great opportunity for me to come on here, get out of my shell, get out of my box, and learn to overcome my fears. 9s are deeply empathetic. They are emotional and in their shadow side, overly sensitive, which I resonate with all of that. And 9s are the humanitarians, right? So I find myself constantly trying to keep the peace, but to my own detriment. I'll find myself in conflicting or confrontational experiences, and I will first fawn and then run. So first I fawn, I freeze, I stutter my words, I don't stand up for myself, and then I leave the conversation completely discouraged, go home, sit alone in a dark corner in deep contemplation. Now, I would love to overcome this aspect of my shadow side of being the number 9 and move on, be more confident and firm in my stance, and stand up for myself. So another couple of my favorite numerology numbers are the number 7 and the number 8. These numbers are constantly reappearing in my life, and they also appear in my birthday. But I don't want to get too far into my numerology. I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm going to move on. Another reason why I named the channel The Third Flame Tarot is because I am a triple fire sign. I have a Leo Sun, a Leo Moon, and Sagittarius rising. My Leo Sun sits in the 8th house, which is the house of magic and taboo. And it's the aspect of my personality, the house of my astrological chart, that I resonate with the most. Some things I'm fascinated by are magic, taboo, exploring aspects of the shadow self, near-death experiences, religion, and all the many perspectives you can take of the Godhead through religion, the science of self-realization, dreaming, dream interpretation, astrology, numerology, tarot, yoga, and all other forms of divination. These are all subjects I'm really interested in. So my moon is also in Leo, and it sits in the 7th house. The 7th house is all about relationships, and the moon is all about the shadow self, intuition, and deep subconscious. The Leo is ruled by the sun, and my moon is in Leo. So I have these conflicting or polarizing energies sitting in the house of relationships. So I find that I don't make very many deep and meaningful connections in my life. I tend to have one or two very good friends and then have a lot of acquaintances. I have a really hard time in surface level conversation. So when I first meet someone, I try to go deep way too fast. It freaks them out. They take off running. And then here I go back home, sitting in a dark corner in hermit in deep contemplation for often long periods of time. I would love to overcome this shadow side of my Leo moon and get out of my box and express myself more authentically and in a way that's not scary. So my rising is in Sagittarius, and for the longest time, I thought I was a triple Leo. 20 years ago, I had my astrology chart done. Back then, we didn't have iPhones, or at least they weren't very common, and there were no applications. You had to go to an astrologer to get your chart read. So this astrologer was an apprentice, and he got my birth time wrong. He mixed up the AM and the PM, where he marked me as being born in the AM, but I was actually born in the PM. So when I found out later on that I was actually a Sagittarius rising, at first I was slightly disappointed. I always really resonated with the Leo aspects of my personality, and I didn't really know much about Sagittarius. But the more I learned about Sagittarius, I realized I'm way more of a Sag rising than I am a Leo rising. Sagittarius is awesome. I love Saggies, and if there are any Saggies watching, I love you. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. I can't wait to meet you. But Sagittarius is the half centaur, half humanoid, mythological beast with bow and arrow shooting for the stars. They are overly optimistic, and even in the face of adversity, they are mysterious, they are philosophical, and they have a great sense of adventure. Sagittarius is also ruled by the planet Jupiter. Now, not only is Jupiter the largest planet in the solar system, but it's also the craziest. It is this big ball of swirling gas covered in chaotic storms. And those storms create so much chaos that feeds the expansion of the planet. I feel like that there is a lot for us to learn from Jupiter. If we learn to take a different perspective on the chaos in our life, we can understand that chaos and negative situations are there for our own expansion and spiritual growth. So I love that about Sagittarius. I'm super happy I am a Sagittarius rising. Triple Leos, I'm sure, are cool. I've never actually met one, but I'm happy I'm a Saggy rising. So, one more thing about my astrology before I want to move on. My Chiron is in Gemini. Gemini is the third house, which rules, it governs communication and the way that you interact in the world with others around you. Chiron symbolizes the wounded healer. And here we go again with wounding around communication and interactions with others. My North Node is also in Gemini, so I feel like this is part of my destiny to overcome. It is going to be really important for me to resolve these shadow aspects of myself, and I'm really hoping that by coming here on YouTube, I will be able to work through these challenges. So, the next thing I want to talk about are the three main reasons why I decided to start my YouTube channel, and we'll get into that next. So, on to the reasons why I decided to start this YouTube channel. The first most important reason is because I want to learn. I find that I learn the most when I'm bouncing ideas off like minded people. And I feel like I've been stuck in a hermit mode for way too long, standing on the edge of a diving board, waiting to jump in the deep end, but just barely getting my toes over the edge. This is my attempt to dive in. And I cannot wait to interact more and learn not just more about the tarot, but about all the other things I discussed, specifically astrology and numerology. If there are any astrologers or numerologists watching, please hit me up. I want to know everything you know. The third flame tarot at gmail.com. The second reason I decided to start this channel, and it was a tough decision to decide which was the most important reason for me, but this is coming in a very close second, is overcoming my fear. As I talked about before, I have a lot of wounding around creating deep and meaningful connections in my life. And as a double Leo with my Chiron in Gemini, I have these conflicting aspects of myself. As a double Leo, I feel very energetic and flamboyant and dramatic, and I want to get out on stage and show my authentic self to the world. But I have these deep-seated fears around rejection, and I feel like I really need to work on overcoming that. This is another great attempt at me to work on overcoming my fear. The third most important reason I started the channel, I have a lot of reasons, but these are the top three. The third most important reason I started the channel is because I want to help. Tarot has been so amazing for me in my life. It has taught me so much about myself, about how I think, how I feel, why I do the things that I do, and why others think, feel, and do the things that they do. Tarot is an amazing way for you to open your mind and try to understand the world around you more. It helps you understand why situations happen in your life and how deep-seated wounds and traumas can really affect your everyday life. So I want to come on here and teach what I've learned and help people overcome their own fears, insecurities, and become happier, stronger people in their own lives. So next up, I really want to talk about the history of the tarot for me and how I started reading. So that's up next. So the last thing I want to talk about here before I wrap this video up is the history of tarot for me and how I got started reading. I was raised in a strict Christian household. We went to church every Sunday. My grandfather was a deacon. I participated in communion and even went to private Christian school. I always loved Christianity. It has many different perspectives and aspects to it that I really do appreciate. And I knew that I believed in God and Jesus and angels and demons. And the stories of the Bible really fascinate me. But it felt like there was more out there. Like Christianity was it, but it wasn't everything. And I mean, it was part of it. It was part of everything, but it wasn't everything. So when I turned 18, I was out of the house. I wanted to go experience as many different perspectives spiritually as I could and as best as I could. So when I turned 18, I was out of the house. And during that time period, I ended up making friends with this guy. He invited me over to his house, and his mom was a practicing Wiccan. And at this point, I had never met an adult, mature Wiccan. My best friend in junior high was dabbling in Wiccan and pagan belief systems, but I had never met an adult Wiccan. So the first time I went into her house, I was awestruck. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. It was dark, and there were beautiful plants and vines everywhere. Bottles, trinkets, herbs, incense, spices, walls of books, and pictures of cats. Um, I was mesmerized. I wanted to see and understand what it was like to look through her eyes, spiritually speaking. I wanted to know what her perspective was on God. And a beautiful thing about Wiccans is that they believe that nature is God. Everything is nature, so therefore everything is God. And this is a perspective that I take as an absolute truth. Everything from the tiniest atom and molecule all the way up to the macrocosm is all God. It is all connected and it's all one. So I started spending more and more time over there. And one day, the mother and I were sitting outside on the patio in a deep conversation. I felt like I could be totally authentic with her. I could be completely open about every aspect of my personality. I didn't have to feel shame or be shy about anything about myself. And we ended up in a pause in this conversation. And she looked over at me and she said, "You know, I think you have a gift, and I think you need to share that gift." So she got up and went over to a cabinet and pulled out a deck of cards. She handed it to me and said, "You need to start reading the tarot." And I had no idea in that moment the magnitude that that event would have and how it would affect my life moving forward in a very deep and meaningful way. I took the cards home. I did not take the situation seriously at all. I figured, oh, these are just a deck of cards. So, how important can they possibly be? But it didn't take me very long before I realized that the tarot, it is not a game. It is not just a deck of cards. It encompasses the entirety of the human experience. It is so vast and full of insight and wisdom. And I knew that I needed to invest time into this. I needed to start learning as much as I could. But the tarot at first is very intimidating. It is so full of imagery and symbolism, and sometimes it speaks in riddles. There's numerology and astrology associated with it. I mean, history, religion. I mean, it is just very vast. And there are 78 cards in the tarot deck. I mean, you could pull one card and read off of it for hours. How are you supposed to learn all 78 cards, not only in the upright, but in the reverse? So, for many years, I just read casually for myself, flipping the book a million times until the pages started disintegrating. And I realized I got to a point where, you know that saying, if you want to learn a language, you got to go to the country. That is how I started to feel. And I felt like going to the country in tarot meant I needed to start reading for other people. So I got brave and I grabbed a blanket and made a dinky little cardboard sign and headed to the park. I laid out my blanket, put up my little sign that said tarot readings for donation or trade. And that is how I got started reading for other people. Now, it only took a couple of readings before I realized that this was part of my destiny. This is something I needed to be doing. When somebody comes to you with an emotional issue, or perhaps they're confused on which direction they need to go in life, or maybe they're in a really difficult situation and they don't know how to process it, the tarot can offer a lot of comfort. I mean, it is a direct line of communication with God and your spirit team. It opens up doorways to the communication so that you can receive these messages from your helpers. They're there, they want to help you, but they're in a separate dimension. They have to speak in riddles or synchronicities. And the tarot is like the floodgates opening. Spirit teams love when you do the tarot. They are so excited that you're actually going to be able to hear them. And I mean, really any form of divination. But I felt so much accomplishment and fulfillment. I would say fulfillment is more the word I need. I felt so fulfilled when I was able to help somebody process these emotions, situations, and help them work through why they were going through what they were going through. And, this life is just a blip in time. All of the experiences we encounter in our life, whether they're positive or negative, happen for a reason. They're there to teach us. This is spiritual university. We are here to learn. And without the negative, there would be no catalyst to teach us. We would be stuck. Everything would be utopian and boring. So, like, that's amazing. And I'm so excited to be here and get started on this channel. I feel like I've been standing on the edge of a diving board for 20 plus years, waiting to dive into the deep end. And me coming here on YouTube is my attempt at diving in. I am ready to go. It's super funny because a couple nights ago, I started recording a tarot session. And in my mind, I thought, this is going to be my first tarot video. But as I got going into the reading, I realized this is my reading. This is meant for me. And a funny thing about that, too, is that the audio in that video was totally messed up and distorted. There's no way I could have posted that video. God stepped in and made that happen to show me that that was my reading. And I don't want to tell you all about that spread and what happened in it, but I want to share 3 cards that popped out with you because it's kind of one of those synchronicities and those blatantly obvious signs that you cannot ignore. So the 3 cards that popped out in sequence towards the end of the reading was Temperance in reverse, the 4 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. Now, Temperance in the upright symbolizes divine patience, right? You're stepping back, you're going Zen, and you're letting God take over what's going on in your life. But in the reverse position, it's the complete opposite. God is saying, nope, no more time being patient. You need to get up, you need to take action and start doing stuff. The 4 of Cups, to me, is all about either rejection or it's an opportunity that's right in front of you that you cannot see or that you're choosing not to see. And that's what resonated with me the most, is that I have this opportunity right in front of me. There is the godly hand coming out of the sky with swirling clouds, holding an Ace of Cups, offering it to me, but I'm looking the other way. It's time for me to turn my head and look at this opportunity that is right in front of me. And then the last card was the Ace of Cups. Now, in the 4 of Cups, the hand coming out of the sky with the opportunity is holding the Ace of Cups. So to have the Ace of Cups come out after the 4 of Cups, I mean, mic drop. Like, I cannot deny that. I cannot ignore that. That is completely obvious. And then with the audio in the video, I mean, yeah. So here I am, being brave, coming on YouTube, and starting my tarot channel. So I'd like to really thank you for being here, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for watching this introductory video and getting to know more about me, about my channel, and what I hope to do here. I cannot wait to learn more about you. So please tell me in the comment section, what's your life path number? What's your sun, moon, and rising sign? And what are a few of your deep challenges and problems that you would like to overcome in this life? Tell me, please. I would love to hear. Thank you so much. Namaste.